addressing a single comment on the channel, not because it's hurtful or anything, but it might actually be a good critique. But I have a video, one video on my channel that covered the Delphi murders, or covered being requested to look them up. On a previous channel, I actually covered them pretty thoroughly, and the channel was taken down because it was the subject matter of another video that took it down. It's one of hundreds and hundreds of subjects I've been asked to look up. I do mostly things by request. But this is the critique I got on a video where I went off on a tangent, according to the person. This went from a respected Delphi murder YouTuber channel to a guy who's pissed off at his life problems and can't pay rent in 0 to 60. I understand your problems. I've been there, dude. This is supposed to be about the Delphi girls. Come on now. In the video, which I will give a link to, the component that the person's complaining about may be a long, drawn-out rant I forgot to delete. It could. I'm acting like I don't know what's in the video. It could be me using my own life experience as an example. Now, I'm going to not pause the video or anything. I'm going to do this live and see if I can get the video to open in the background. I'm having trouble with my computer at this moment. Sorry about that. Let me pause the video. And by the way, if anybody's curious, and this is a side subject, has nothing to do with the Delphi murders, YouTube has taken away the edit button on the video page, so you have to go through and look up the video in your own videos list of uploads to edit them or even read them without it auto-playing the video. Yes, YouTube took another one out. And the video you're commenting under, where you're claiming I started off being a respected YouTube Delphi murder YouTuber covering the subject, is a video where I was asked questions by people who said they were just asking questions like, the case is already solved and we know who to blame and it's a specific person they know. And of course that's in reference to somebody on the net blaming some random person they may have an axe to grind against. Another one was someone bringing up their personal life and how this relates to their life, and me answering a question concerning it. And the next thing I'm going to bring up is why I'm not editing this at all. Person coughing up the street, drunk people on Monday, screaming at the top of their lungs irrationally, and random stuff that happens in life. This is actually going to be sounding really bad, but the video you commented under was me responding directly to commentary. It wasn't specifically about the Delphi murders. The video title is Law Enforcement Knows Delphi Murderer Father-Son Boy Scout Connection to Girls. And that's me responding by saying, not telling me who you're talking about, and not telling me why I should take something absolutely batshit insane like that seriously, means that I'm not going to take the subject matter seriously because someone's claiming we know who did it, and so do they. But, of course, when you look it up, it's actually just exactly what it sounds like, because it sounds too good to be true, it must be. It's a YouTuber somewhere who has an axe to grind against a couple of people in the area, or not. I'm using that assertion because even the person making these assertions won't explain why they're targeting, I'm using that wording that way, a specific group of people, or an individual. In the past, when I was looking into the Delphi murders, there were people trying to blame specific famous people and the Clintons. That's why the video is kind of flippant. I'm responding to people who are getting mad at me for pointing out a very obvious thing about this horrible incident that happened in Delphi. That the police are refusing to give out information that would make it even a little bit possible for anybody to help, and it looks like they're just playing games and doing it for show. And everyone agreed with my assertion about that, because X number of years on, that's the only conclusion I can come to. If you have evidence and you won't release it raw so that we have access to it, at least give us an explanation. Don't ask the public for help if you refuse to provide them with the ability to help you. And I'm literally at that point. This is over and done with for me for looking into it, because the police have refused to release any further information. There's nothing to work with. So that's why you do have channels saying it's a father and son Boy Scout connection. I mean, let's just invoke the Vatican while we're at it. The reason I sound flippant and I went off on a tangent is a real simple explanation. Now we're at the almost 5-minute mark, so I'm going to review what I've said in that video and a couple of others concerning the Delphi murders. And more importantly, the only suspect anybody brings up, which is some guy who was photographed and maybe audio recorded, although the police won't give us the complete recording so we know it's connected, of a person on the bridge guy. Number one, he may have done nothing at all and would never come forward, because you don't clear your name by volunteering to be confirmed as enemy number one when no one has given an explanation. Why are the police concentrating on that picture of that guy? And why is the composite sketch nothing like what we see in the video? And as for the audio recording, I need a time and date stamp. I need how many minutes or seconds later that audio happened. Was it associated immediately after or before? Remember, if it happened before, it's probably not him. And next, people bring up the Boy Scout or some guy they don't like. None of this is helping the situation, and that's one of the reasons I'm not going to be the Delphi murder investigative channel. I can't be, because there's nothing to work with. In the case of Las Vegas, there was more information than was necessary to be able to do things, complicated things such as being able to use audio delay timing and phase angles to figure out literally where the bullets came from. Or in my case, just using my ears and adjusting the timing in a video where someone's moving a lot to literally figure out that it had to be coming from, if not the Mandalay Bay, at least in that general direction, and could not be coming from the other direction. And the only way to do that was to make a stereophonic audio recording out of 5 different fucking recordings. And they are gone too, because I had a channel that's gone. Now, where am I going with this? You posted your comment about me not taking this seriously or being a useful channel and going off on personal tangents under a video where I was basically being trolled by people who were posting memes. I could have actually, in that video, I'm very sure of it, I have the text in front of me. I could have also included everything else that I wanted to talk about. I think I did several videos that day about different subjects. I combined them together. It's called Just Answering Questions with waptek. And again, the video says, law enforcement knows Delphi murderer, father and son, Boy Scout connection to girls, was done so that people looking for that subject matter would find me basically mocking anyone who makes this assertion, because that's like someone saying, I know a prince shot somebody or was responsible in some way from Saudi Arabia at Las Vegas, but not knowing the name or not knowing why they got that idea. And why they got that idea is somebody wanting to strap together several things that were in the news that day and lie about it. Yeah, the name of the person who was the prince was in the news that day. He had nothing to do with the shooting in Las Vegas. They wanted to make bizarre connections between him and literally MGM. Doesn't make any sense. And funny thing is, most people don't know it, but the prince they were referring to doesn't really own any part of the MGM building. He's a part owner with Bill Gates and a bunch of other people, so people then threw that in when the news came up. That was somebody taking advantage of search engine optimization. So let's review your assertions about my statement. Again, this video is a video where I'm addressing someone coming up with what we refer to commonly in the business as the half-assed bullshit smoking gun assertion that never gets backed up by saying, what is the name of the person you're talking about? And why is this coming up? And what idiot is promoting it? Because they never want to bring up the channel they got it from or the website. Oh, I saw it on Reddit. That's why I do videos about that. And the other question was, is something very obvious. If a person is assumed guilty, but you can't find them, why would they come forward if the bias is to throw them in jail for something they may not have actually done? And next, again, I'm going to restate from previous video, the one that actually got me a bunch of page views that I don't really deserve, me pointing out the fact that not giving us the rest of the information means that this will not progress. It's not a cold case, it's done. There's no way anybody's going to come up with anything new unless somebody has a change of heart and confesses to it. And I'm sure by now a bunch of people have confessed when they're not guilty and have been eliminated from the list, because every time a murder happens, it's famous, people randomly confess to it. So I went from being, quote unquote, a legitimate, what did you call it? Let me read what you said exactly, or what you typed. Let me read it properly, because I don't want to misquote you. Mr. Digital. This went from respected Delphi murderer YouTuber, I'm assuming you meant it a bit better than that, to guy who's pistol off at his life problems and can't pay rent in 0 to 60 seconds. This is supposed to be about the Delphi murders. Okay. The video response was to people who were basically trolling me or leaving stupid comments, or making very good, very good answers. And that's the meat and content of the video. But let's address part of that. Can't pay his rent. I can pay my fucking rent. I'm listed on a file someplace that when you do the cheap $40 background check that says, I have been homeless at one time, in case you weren't aware of this. Thank you for not researching this. And they basically don't rent to you if you have been homeless, but they'll sell you property. So I just have to find a cheap piece of property. It's easier, technically and legally, for me to buy a hunk of dirt to live on and just put a building on it. Legally or illegally, it doesn't matter. In the state of Oregon, they don't really take your house down. They can, but they don't bulldoze it. And live that way instead of living in a tent, rather than waiting for someone to stop running that same stupid $40 background check to tell me that while I'm holding 6 months worth of rent, I'm an unreasonable risk for paying rent when I'm holding 6 months of it and throwing it in their face. That literally happened now twice. Since the video, it's happened again. I felt that it was a much more useful thing to talk about than somebody deciding that they were going to support some channel that was demonizing some random person in the area they didn't like personally and wanted to pin a murder on them. So no, I'm not a respected investigator on this subject. I was. And you didn't watch the entire video or look for context. I'm not mad at you. I expect this sort of thing to happen. And you're the only comment on any of the channels today, actually in the last 3 days, that I felt the need to comment on in a quasi-angry way. This is an extremely superficial response to my video that you gave. It has nothing really to do with the subject matter, and more importantly, the video itself has nothing to do with it. I was addressing a preposterously stupid and deliberately not backed up comment by somebody in the title, and also addressing a really useful comment that if a person was photographed randomly down the street from some murder and nobody was able to find them or question them, what benefit would it be to them or anybody for them to come forward? Except to make sure that they never look the same way again and never get accused of it. Whether the person's guilty or innocent, they're not going to find them. And that probably, I'm sorry, at this point, I'm going to say this very safely, because they changed the image in that sketch, I can guarantee you the bridge guy is not the guilty party. I can guarantee you. But they still want to find him because he was there. He hasn't come forward. Do you really think police don't literally just use presumption of guilt to force people to show up? Maybe he saw something and he's a witness. He's wanted in connection. He's not a suspect. He's probably a witness to somebody who else was there. An eyewitness to the person who actually did it. That might be useful. Then again, they won't give us the information, which was the original thing people applauded me for saying. Them not giving information is one of two things. They know that they'll never find the answer, or they don't have any information to give us. But I do thank you for your evaluation of the video, and I apologize if I've insulted you. I'm not trying to. But could you just dig a little deeper in the clearly marked instructional data right below the video of people commenting to me and the archives proving they did? Look below in this video for your comment in an archive, as well as a verbatim copy of it at this moment. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And this is the only video I've had to upload today, really, in response to anybody's comments, really. Bye.